Imagine standing at a busy intersection where cars glide past each other, pedestrians cross calmly, and yet there is no red telling you to stop, no green urging you to go, no yellow warning you to slow down. There are no traffic lights blinking overhead, no impatient horns, no digital countdowns ticking away seconds of your life. And still, everything works. This is not a futuristic experiment or a forgotten village. This is a real country, living in the modern world, that functions almost entirely without traffic lights. That country is Bhutan. In most parts of the world, traffic lights are symbols of order. We trust them more than we trust people. We stop because a machine tells us to stop. We move because a color changes. We believe that without these systems, chaos would immediately follow. Accidents would increase, tempers would flare, and cities would grind to a halt. Yet Bhutan quietly challenges this belief. It asks a strange and powerful question: what if human judgment is better than automated control? Bhutan is a small Himalayan nation, tucked between India and China, known for its mountains, monasteries, and deep-rooted spiritual culture. It is also known for something far more unusual: the near-total absence of traffic lights. Even in the capital city, Thimphu, intersections are not ruled by signals but by people. Instead of lights, traffic police stand in the middle of the road, gracefully directing vehicles with hand movements that look more like a dance than a duty. And where police are not present, drivers negotiate the road themselves through eye contact, patience, and mutual respect. This system did not emerge because Bhutan lacked technology or resources. In fact, Bhutan once installed traffic lights in Thimphu as a test. But the people disliked them. They felt the lights were cold, impersonal, and disruptive to the natural flow of movement. The government listened, removed the lights, and returned control to human hands. That decision alone says something profound about the values of this country. To understand why Bhutan can function without traffic lights, you must understand how Bhutan thinks about life itself. Bhutan is famous for prioritizing gross national happiness over gross domestic product. Instead of measuring success only in money and growth, Bhutan measures well-being, mental health, environmental balance, cultural preservation, and social harmony. Roads, like life, are not just systems to optimize efficiency. They are shared spaces where human dignity matters. In many countries, driving feels like a battle. Everyone is in a hurry. Every delay feels like an insult. Traffic lights become triggers for frustration. Red lights are enemies. Green lights are races. Horns are weapons. In Bhutan, the road is not a battlefield. It is a conversation. Drivers expect uncertainty, so they slow down. They watch each other. They anticipate instead of react. This alone reduces accidents more effectively than any flashing signal. When there is no traffic light to blindly obey, responsibility shifts back to the individual. You cannot blame the system if something goes wrong. You must be aware. You must be careful. You must think. This creates a culture of mindful driving. Speeds are lower. Aggression is rare. Courtesy becomes a survival skill, not a moral luxury. There is also a deeper psychological effect. Traffic lights teach obedience without awareness. You stop because you are told to stop, not because you understand why. In Bhutan, drivers learn situational awareness. They read body language. They sense hesitation. They predict movement. This kind of intelligence is deeply human and cannot be replicated by machines. Another reason this system works is Bhutan's pace of life. Bhutan does not worship speed. There is no obsession with saving seconds. Time is not treated as something to conquer. When you remove the pressure of constant urgency, traffic naturally becomes calmer. People are willing to wait, to let others pass, to cooperate. A society that values patience will naturally create safer roads. Critics might argue that Bhutan is small, that its population is low, that its traffic volume cannot compare to megacities like New York, Tokyo, or Delhi. And they would be right. Bhutan is not claiming that traffic lights should be abolished everywhere. The lesson is not about copying Bhutan's system blindly. The lesson is about questioning our assumptions. We assume that more control means more safety. Bhutan suggests that more trust might do the same. We assume that technology always improves human systems. Bhutan reminds us that sometimes technology removes human responsibility instead of enhancing it. We assume that order must be enforced externally. Bhutan shows that order can emerge internally from shared values. There is something symbolic about a country without traffic lights. Traffic lights represent external authority. They tell everyone what to do, regardless of context. Bhutan's roads represent internal discipline. People regulate themselves. And this mirrors Bhutan's broader philosophy of governance, where laws exist, but culture does much of the work. The traffic police in Thimphu are a perfect example of this philosophy. They do not shout, they do not intimidate, they move gracefully, almost ceremonially, turning traffic flow into something harmonious rather than stressful. Tourists often stop to watch them, not because they are confused, but because they are mesmerized. It is rare to see authority exercised with elegance. This elegance reflects Bhutan's Buddhist roots. Buddhism emphasizes mindfulness, compassion, and awareness of others. These values spill into everyday life, including how people drive. When you see another driver not as an obstacle but as a fellow human being, your behavior changes. You become gentler, more forgiving, less reactive. Now consider what traffic lights say about modern life elsewhere. They exist because we do not trust each other. We assume that if rules are not enforced mechanically, people will cheat. We design systems for the worst version of humanity. Bhutan designs its systems for the best version, and then educates people to live up to it. This does not mean Bhutan is perfect. Accidents still happen, mistakes are still made, but the overall tone of life is different. Stress is lower, conflict is rarer, and perhaps most importantly, people feel connected to their environment instead of controlled by it. There is also an environmental angle. Slower traffic means lower emissions. Fewer stops and starts reduce fuel consumption. Less aggressive driving reduces noise pollution. Without realizing it, Bhutan's traffic system aligns with its commitment to environmental preservation. It is not just a cultural choice, it is a sustainable one. In a world rushing toward automation, self-driving cars, smart signals, and AI-controlled cities, Bhutan feels almost rebellious. It dares to say that progress is not always about adding more layers of technology. Sometimes progress is about subtracting what disconnects us from each other. Think about how often traffic lights dictate your mood. One red light after another can make you angry without you even noticing why. A malfunctioning signal can ruin your morning. Bhutan removes this silent emotional tax. The road becomes a neutral space again, not an arena of micro-frustrations. The idea of a country with no traffic lights sounds almost unbelievable because it contradicts our conditioning. We have been taught that structure must come from machines. Bhutan reminds us that structure can come from values. When people share a common sense of respect, systems become simpler, not more complex. This raises a powerful question beyond traffic. If a society can manage its roads through trust and mindfulness, what else could be managed differently? Education, work culture, urban design, mental health. Bhutan's traffic system becomes a metaphor for an alternative way of living. It is not about rejecting modernity. Bhutan uses technology where it serves human well-being. It simply refuses to let efficiency crush humanity. Roads are not just for moving vehicles. They are for moving people, lives, and intentions. So when you hear that this country has no traffic lights, do not think of disorder. Think of discipline without force. Think of harmony without automation. Think of a society that believes humans are capable of cooperation without constant mechanical supervision. In the end, Bhutan's roads ask us a quiet but unsettling question. What if the problem is not the lack of control, but the lack of trust? What if slowing down is not a failure, but a form of wisdom? And what if the most advanced system is not the one with the most machines, but the one that brings out the best in people? In a world obsessed with speed, Bhutan chooses balance. In a world ruled by signals, Bhutan chooses awareness. And in a world that increasingly trusts machines more than humans, Bhutan dares to trust itself.